ask you a very different question.
Go ahead, please.
The thought is that I I don't have any psychiatry related or a mental health related problem, and
Right.
therefore I will not get postpartum depression.
Of course.
Is that, is that correct? Is that a myth? Could I also? I mean, I have, even during my pregnancy, I was absolutely fine. Maybe I have not shown any symptoms of it, but post childbirth, I am showing symptoms of depression. Is that also possible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You may never have experienced depression in your entire life. And it is very much possible that postpartum would be the first time that you're experiencing those very complex, very overwhelming, very negative mood states. That can happen, right? Why? Simply because the brain responds to the available stress. And as I said, childbirth, although it's physiological, but pregnancy and childbirth are high stress states for a woman.
Right.
For anybody who's to produce new life within them, right? One can
Yeah.
imagine the amount of resources going into that,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
So it can be, it needs to be always on the watch list of the woman herself as well as people around her. Right. Thankfully, of course, things are improving, and a lot of that mindset around psychological and psychiatric medicines and therapy, people are now much more open to it.
Do it.
We have seen that over time, especially post COVID, where
Yeah.
people are increasing their knowledge, their understanding about how these medicines are actually miracles of nature, and sorry, not nature but science. But then science itself is a is a process of discovering more and more nature within you and around you, right? And
Sure.
these are the best solutions, which we can offer with a lot of more confidence because of the amount of data, the amount of evidence which has been generated over the past couple of decades, mostly,
Sure.
right?
Okay. So, in all of this, this question goes to both of you to say, what is the role of family members and, friends, community in supporting the woman, especially as she's navigating? Like I said, most women are like, um, even right after, while they're still in the hospital, everybody comes to see the child and everybody's like, oh, has the child eaten? Who has the child pooped? Who has the child
Yeah,
done this?
yeah,
But very few even look at the mother and say, oh, have you eaten? And have you even had like, something fresh for yourself or anything like that?
agreed.
In that kind of a space where, and maybe even the mother might not feel never feel comfortable to prioritize her own need or desire at that point of time and say, okay, can someone at least even ask me? Because the the guilt of putting yourself a little ahead of the child's needs might also put
Yeah.
you down. So how, what should, so my question is stemming from the fact that the woman will never ask for it. She will never come and say, I need to be taken care of and
Yeah,
can you take care of me? She, in all likelihood, will not say it. She might feel it, but will never admit it. So, what is the role of everybody around her to actively support, and what can be some of those active steps to be taken, especially in the first 3 to 4 months when you're recuperating, your social life is also limited because you're not taking the child out, you yourself are not in a condition to step out. So what are the few things that can be done by friends and family, both who are staying closer, who are not staying closer? What could be some of the things that could be done?
So I think the first thing is when we were talking about the rules in rural areas, the kind of support that a new mother gets, that is what is positive. And of course, they don't have access to great medical health, but they have this environmental social support. We need to replicate that model and customize it for urban folks. So I'm going to say this again, that the friends who are listening in, the expectant fathers, the parents who are listening in, people who are listening into this podcast need to understand childbirth is a massive reorganization of life. It can produce significant stress in a person's brain. It can change everything. So the person might not have the um, the awareness or the freedom to ask you to help. You be the
Yeah.
first, you
Yeah.
be the first one to offer. Take the pressure off of her. Of course, the bigger problem is, why are women not asking for help? I wish we had empowered
It is.
women, made them
Yeah.
assertive, that they would delegate tasks. You bring food. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like that, but I would tell my friends, I need to eat this today, or you take care of my child, I
Yeah.
need to go to the salon. So the idea is, we need to ask, that's one. But if you can't ask, please proactively offer certain things. See the
Yeah.
comfort. See, what
Yeah.
can I do
Yeah.
right now to help? Bringing kitchery to, cleaning the bottles and sterilizing. There are
Yeah.
thousand things that happen, once the baby is
Right.
born.
Right.
So offering anything at all. My friend used to offer to walk my dog. See, people don't understand, in our urban
Yeah.
landscape, we have pets, and we don't have parents and in-laws living with us, or relatives. So friends can come in, bosses can come in, colleagues can come in, organizations can support, and people can support. So yes, to very simply look, everybody has to pitch in. We have, as a society, we are bringing new human beings. These are, it just makes better business sense to support the person who has given birth to the resource. Just,
Right.
Absolutely.
To a resource.
yeah, yeah,
I like that. So,
I mean, I wish people could just boil it down to that.
yeah,
That will make so
yeah.
much more sense, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. That's how it is. And to add to that, Sindhu, and I mean, giving full cognition to the fact that the woman might feel it but will not vocalize
Correct.
it. So,
Yeah.
what is the friend's job? The friend comes in, men and women both. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
friends are friends. And they
Yeah.
ask this question: how are you feeling? And then ask it again: no, really, how are
How are
you
you feeling?
feeling?
Yeah,
No bullshit. Don't give me the politically correct statement. Oh, I am feeling so nice. No. How are you feeling? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are there negative thoughts in your head at times? Do you feel sad at times? Ask the tough questions. Come on, it is expected. And she's not going to say it. It's your job. How can we help?
yeah,
Yeah. What do you
absolutely.
need me to do? Yeah. This is the most crucial
Yeah,
time of your life. How can I be helpful?
yeah. And
What
friends
do you
can
need
do
me to
that.
do?
They can. It also
They can. They
removes the
can.
stigma. We need to have start having
Yes.
very honest and adult conversations about mental and
Conversations.
emotional health. Or, it's
Yeah.
important.
Yes.
Like, I remember
Yeah.
my friend coming and saying, "Do
Yeah.
you feel like a cow?" I said, "Yeah." "Okay, then let me give you a break."
Good.
That's how she
Yeah.
straight away asked.
Good.
I
So I said, "Yes, I feel
Well
like a
done.
cow." So then she said that, "Okay, here's a new," she actually bought me a new dress, and I left the baby without a sense of guilt for a couple of hours. I just went, and
Fantastic.
I don't know what I did, but I just took some snooze and I just listened to music. The,
Yes.
yes.
these are the
Yes.
village people that we need to depend on.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we
We
need
need
to
those
build that.
urban
Yeah.
villages.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
We need
absolutely.
those friends to come over and say, I am taking over.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be with the baby for the next
But
this much
for that,
time. You
Satyan,
go.
we need to reduce the anxiety in parents. So, one of the
I
previous
agree.
questions you were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
answering, and you were saying reducing anxiety of new parents. We need to work on that, because
Yeah.
there is so much of
Yeah.
bombardment of information. The other day, I was
Oh,
reading about
yeah.
scrunchy mom, almond mom, influencer mom, silky mom. These are all new TikTok terms for how these are new terms.
Oh,
So snow plowing and helicopter parenting are all old. Now, new kind of
yeah.
Oh.
parenting, almond parenting.
We have to update our content then.
Yes,
Almond parenting. I would love to know what's that.
eating almonds. So it is from a supermodel's mother, who would say that every time this model was stressed, the mother would come in very gently and in a velvety voice would say, "Oh, darling, you should eat 2 or 3 almonds and chew them very slowly." That's it. That's all you need. So almond moms,
Okay.
they denote the kind of mothers who give you diet as advice, tell you what to
Yeah.
wear, how to look. They're all about making you look perfect. So that is almond parenting, and a lot of new parents who or mothers who want to be cool, they will often update their latest, choices in fashion and hair and everything. And so this is almond, from what I understand. I read the
Yeah.
article and I was like, wow.
So,
But we need to make it more real, right? We need to
yeah.
start addressing the basic things.
Look, they're very basic things
And
for
that
parenting. Huh,
just
sorry.
brings me, and I'm
Yeah,
coming,
yeah, yeah.
sorry, I'm coming to an absolute basic question. Forget about, whether I'm a scrunchy mom or a soccer mom and God knows what mom. Um, but the question still boils down to, as a mother, if I choose to have a career, and especially in some countries you don't even get 3 months of leave. You're still, you, like Dr. Satyan said, you're in the fourth trimester and you're expected to be back to work. At least in our country we get 26 weeks of leave. So in such a case, you've just recuperated, you're getting back, etc., and you slowly start work, and it can get very overwhelming. um, and the constant question, and maybe the pressure on your own head of saying, am I a good mom? Which is, so if there is an almond mom right next to me, I might be like, I'm not that person. I don't even know where almonds are in my house. And, I'm
Right.
wondering about that. Um, so the question I'm going to ask you, and it's going to be, it may sound a little different, is to say, do working women raise kids better? And I know I'm throwing a question to another working woman, and maybe the answer might just come as a resounding yes. But this is a constant debate
Yeah.
that women are going through, um, and somewhere, and I'm going to give a different example to talk about it, saying that I know of a person, very again, very as equal a relationship between the partners, created village, lot of involved everybody, but she felt that she needs to spend more time with her child, and she felt that she's not doing enough. At the same time, she was probably not enjoying her career, and she chose
Okay.
to come back and tell her family that I want to take a break. She said, my family was extremely supportive. But, 6 months later, she said, now when I look back, maybe they were a bit too supportive. Maybe
Yeah.
they, if it was my husband instead of me, everybody would have raised an eyebrow and said, why are you quitting? What happened? Maybe change your job, maybe change the company, but don't quit. But when it
Yeah.
came to me, the support was, okay, your choice. You want to do it, whatever you want to feel. So have we are we being, and it's a very dichotomous question. So on one hand, you want to support the women to make the right choice, and you don't want to make force them to do something they don't want to do. At the same time, are we also making it too easy for them to
Yeah, yeah.
take this
Yeah,
route
yeah.
and say, no, no, it's okay, you focus on the child, and that's what is more important? And that stems from a simple fundamental question, that if I'm a working mother, will I be able to raise a child well? And that, I think, is the fundamental question why this conversation keeps popping up in
Yeah.
different forms
Yeah.
and forums. So I'm throwing this question to
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
Um, in your experience,
Lochan,
what is the answer?
Lochan, I'm going to answer it in two parts.
Okay.
Okay. I asked the question to
No, no,
Sindhu,
no,
but
but
okay.
I am jumping in. I just can't. I
Resist.
have I have yeah, totally. See, I'll tell you. Firstly, I've had so many meetings with so many kids of both working women as well as women who chose to not work, and you know who would vocalize it down the line. Now let's look at the big picture here, where a woman says, I sacrificed my career for you to the child, and where the child says, Mom, I don't even remember that time in my life.
Yeah.
Sindhu, have you had similar experiences?
Absolutely. I've had so many times in family therapy where a mother will typically say, I sacrificed my 10 years to raise my child, and now I'm finding it harder to go back to work. And worse, my child is not even thankful or care about the discipline I
Grateful.
built. The
Yes.
child turns around and says, Ma, but I don't remember any of it. And worse, they can also say, and oftentimes it happens, they'll say that you should have done what made you happy, ma. It's a very simple
Right.
thing. They don't remember it, they don't
Yeah.
care. And the answer to the question, while it's a loaded question, Lochan, frankly,
I know.
any two parents raise their children differently. Simple as that. Each has its pros and cons, so whether working mother, non-working mother, conveniences, drawbacks. There is no unanimous outcome that is perfect and balanced. And I'm not saying this as a
Yes.
matter of personal or even professional opinion. I'm quoting years of longitudinal studies done by child and women health departments in Ivy League universities
Yeah.
around the world, done by ILO, International Labor Organizations that support this. Look, a child has basic needs: safety, stability, being soothed, and then to be enjoyed and acknowledged as a unique individual, which we call being seen. Other than that,
Yeah.
you don't need to move mountains, do something monumental for them. But they are looking at you to see, they're looking at you all the time to see how you're living your life. You are their role model, their first frame of reference, first understanding of the world. It would matter greatly to them if you are living well, if you feeling joyous, feeling accomplished, because then they will feel more confident about the world they one day will step into. So, going back to
Yes.
what Doc was saying, it really doesn't matter. Like, your decision, if you're in a place of privilege and you are able to make that decision to stay back at home, if you don't have to work for joint EMIs, if you are able to enjoy, make a decision that suits you. But the
Yeah.
only unanimous outcome of years of working with parents and children for Doc and I has been one, that healthy parents, healthy individuals, healthy brains become happier parents. Happier parents will,
Yes.
will raise more confident, well adapted children. That's really how it flows. Brain, behavior, outcome. No rocket
Absolutely.
science.
And then,
Absolutely.
so whether
Well
you
said,
are,
Sindhu.
whether you're choosing to be, and I'm specifically saying mother because unfortunately the choice of continuing a career falls on the woman. Whether you're choosing to be a stay-at-home parent, whether you're choosing to be a working parent, whether you're choosing to be a half work,
Yeah, yeah,
part-time working parent, whatever, it boils down to how healthy, brain healthy, how happy you are as an individual. It'll all come down to that,
Yeah.
is how I'm reading this. So it doesn't matter if you could be a stay-at-home parent and still could be not doing all of these for your kids, feeling that I'm doing it but still not doing enough. I mean, still not enough, still not doing it. At the same time, you could be a working parent and doing everything that the child
yeah.
needs, right? What you said about being seen, soothed, stability, and
Safety. Yeah,
safety. So all the
Yes.
four S's are being met, even if you're a working parent, and maybe none of the four S's are being met, even if you're a stay at home.
true.
But as long as you are making that conscious
Yeah,
choice. So my last question, and either one of you could pick this up to come and says, when it comes to working mothers and parents, the immediate environment starts to matter, which is the
Yeah.
organization that you're working with. So, what is the role of an organization? We spoke about the role of friends, family members, cousins or relatives or people who are personally close to you. But what's the role of the organization? How can they support the women after childbirth? How can they support women after they've become new parents, either biologically or adoptive? Uh, what's their role?
See, Lochan, I see it purely as a human resource issue. And
Okay.
I've already shared my feelings on that it is a criminal waste to let go of half of your workforce just because they are going through a biological reality, right? So any society, any organization, any nation, any policy maker, if you want your economy to be better, you need to make space for these needs. And I mean, it was through your organization only that we were able to do those events for new mom program with Zomato, and I'm naming them out here, and I'm saying hats off, well done,
Yes.
right? It makes me so happy and proud that I could be part of that because the organization thought of it.
Yeah.
And for you to create that product, basically where we are helping women get back into the workforce. As Sindhu has very clearly said, no child is going to send you a thank you card and you do not get to hold it, you know, you do not get to say to your child that I did it for you.
Yeah.
No, no. You will be much better as a positive example of how you did what you wanted to do.
Yes.
That your potential as a human being was realized.
Absolutely.
You owe it to yourself. And you do owe it to the child to show that example,
Yeah.
right? So when organizations, I've seen it in so many organizations who, as a matter of policy, say that we don't want to engage younger women, or because
Yeah.
once they get pregnant and once childbirth happens, their reality changes. No, it's because we have to reframe the entire narrative. It need not be that, and
Yeah.
Blinkit and Zomato are doing that on ground. So why can't everybody just get on the bandwagon? And with this entire gamut of technology, these services at our fingertips, these advancements which science has made, it is a criminal waste to let women not have fulfilling careers.
Absolutely. And what is also interesting for me to note was that, look, pregnancy, maternity, childbirth are not unseen, unheard contingencies. As an employer, how
Absolutely.
have you not planned your policy around it? I'm sorry, but
Agreed.
Yeah.
how blind are you? Are you capable of
Yeah.
running an organization of human beings if you haven't planned for contingencies? Now, this is not even a contingency that's unannounced. When
No,
you're
Yeah.
granting
no.
Yeah.
maternity leave to a woman, or when you're planning childbirth, you already know 7 months in advance, right? Or 5 or 6 months. The organization gets to know. Plan, delegate,
Right.
ensure the women who have taken maternity leave are kept in touch with. I love this particular
Yes.
article I'd read about a Canadian company, was it, which talked about keep in touch programs where there was
Oh,
there
yeah.
was a buddy
Oh, yeah.
dedicated to the woman who had taken her maternity leave. So after childbirth, so typically 4 trimesters, so throughout the pregnancy, yes, even post birth, this buddy was in touch with the person and
Yeah.
was constantly telling the person about project and about interesting developments, so that the person felt still a part of an organization, felt
In the
Yeah.
loop.
yes, in the
Yes,
In
loop.
the loop.
Now
yes,
the
Yeah.
thing
yes.
is, you plan for contingencies by hiring short-term or contractual employees during that time. You have to think ahead. You can't assume that you are building a world only for men, or just
Yeah.
you similarly. I'm sorry, but this is a very, it agitates
I
me
know.
that
I
how
know.
can
I
we
know.
not look ahead,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
right?
I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, what's so unique about this that we can't
Ex-
think around it,
think
right?
around it.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
house help,
Absolutely.
when she is pregnant right now, she has gotten a new person to transition her job to, or handhold. So KP, the
yeah.
knowledge transfer, the knowledge process is happening perfectly. She brings her assistance, says, Didi, ye kaam karegi ab. Because I'm pregnant and I know that. So the other person is being trained. If she hadn't come in with an additional help, I would have hired another one. And chances are that I would like to rehire her, because that's her sister, or that's
Yes.
somebody who has been used to my home. Organizations can do the same thing. Not rocket science.
Yeah.
Let's make space for a
Not
more
I
not.
think,
empathetic
yeah.
workplace. No excuses.
Yes, yes,
Zomato has
yes.
done it, Blinkit has
Yes.
done it, why can't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, again, what I was talking about, setting good
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
We can of course tie ourselves in knots talking about what people are not doing, but I think recognizing and giving a shout out to those people who are actually making that difference, that needs to go out, that
Yeah.
word needs to go out, that positivity has to go out, and we nurture it, we make it bigger. That's it, right? It's something all of us should
Yeah,
start
yeah,
consciously working on. That's it.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So no, that's a great point, and especially, and I want to also call out that younger women who are not yet on this life stage are looking at these organizations and making up their minds if
True.
they want to stay here. And
Absolutely.
they're talking about
Yeah.
it and they're discussing
Yeah.
it, and the
Yeah.
younger generation which is coming in is actively asking, hey, I am, forget
What's your
about
policy?
what is your policy. Maybe
Yes.
5 years, 10 years later I might choose to have a child, biologically or adoptive. So how are you going to support me? What is going to be the policy? And if you want me to stay with you and you want me to continue contributing to the way I am, how are you enabling the ecosystem? So they're already asking these
Yes.
questions, maybe in smaller pockets, but they're observing and they're making their choices. So I think even from that lens, for organizations
Absolutely.
to think about it.
And as a conscious consumer, are we not choosing organizations who have a better mandate for, say, eco-friendliness,
Yeah.
Yeah,
who have a better mandate in terms of how they treat their employees? Are we not doing that? We do
absolutely.
that, all of us,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And inclusion is a very, very big
Very.
piece
It's more
for
than a
It
lip
the
is. It
service.
is.
It
younger.
should go beyond March 8 seminars.
Yeah,
Those
Oh,
Women's
oh
Day
God.
seminars. It has to be around
It
absolutely.
the
has to.
year. Then, it has to be
Yeah,
built into the cultural fabric of a company.
yeah,
That's where
I
women's
mean,
absolutely.
an ideal day would be when we don't have to celebrate Women's Day.
Yeah, I agree with you
You
on
know,
that. I know the three of us have the same view
yeah, totally,
on March
totally.
8th.
I mean, Harishankar Parsai had such a beautiful line on this, if I may share it in Hindi. He
Yeah.
said के दिवस हमेशा कमजोर का मनाया जाता है, तो बाल दिवस, मजदूर दिवस होता है, कहीं पे भी थानेदार दिवस नहीं मनाया जाता. You get
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
again, it's part of the pedestal creation, and we want to break that pedestal. Sindhu and me, we are very clear on that. And Lochan, you also, all of
Yeah.
Yeah.
us, in the way we are collaborating, we are moving towards a happier, healthier, more equal society. And it's
Absolutely.
not too much to ask for. It's
It's
the
not too much.
bare minimum. Come on, right?
Absolutely. All right. On that note, thank you to both of you. Absolutely, always an engaging and a fun conversation. And I know we love this space, we love this topic, and such amazing points have been brought out. In If we really think about it, if I were to put it in a small nutshell, to say happier brains, happier people leads to happier children, happier ecosystem, and happier society. So let's all, be conscious of how we are taking care of our brain health,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
Dr. Satyan said, not mental health, of our brain health. And I'm going to start using that phrase along with you
Please do, please
on
do.
this.
Absolutely, yeah.
And take care of, just like we're taking care of our kidney health, liver health, lung
Yeah.
health, we take care of our brain health.
Yes.
And live happier, better, and of course create a much better ecosystem in the
Yep.
process. Thanks to both of you for being here. Really, really, it was amazing. This conversation was brilliant. Thank you so much.
It's been,
It's a
yeah,
pleasure, Lochan, like
absolutely.
always.
It's been such a pleasure. We've spoken, I think, for the last 2 hours, and it doesn't even feel like that. So thank you for
Yeah, I
having
feel
us.
more energetic right
Yeah,
now.
thank you for having us. All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Take
Lochan.
care.
Thank you
Bye.
for doing this.